Well, good. Wait a minute. Let me get my mic up here. Good morning and happy Thanksgiving. And so you can hear me. And here we are, broadcasting from Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. But then you two are at the center of the world. So it's Thanksgiving. And this is a very unusual Thanksgiving for us here at the Home Tree, because for the last 20-some years, we've had 20 to 30 family members from the diaspora come back to the Home Tree for the great feast. And I used to be a wedding photographer, and I noticed that the wedding has 3 stages. There's the stress and tension of the preparation, which starts when there's an engagement. The tension starts right then, and it builds and builds and builds, and it comes up to the wedding, and then it comes to the flowers arriving and the don't let the groom see me and all of that, and then the ceremony. It's like the silence of the ceremony. Suddenly all the tension is gone, and there's and then after that is the Mardi Gras, the celebration, basically, of the relief from the tension. Yeah. And so Thanksgiving here at the Home Tree has been like that. There's the first stage, which is the stress of preparation, which usually begins about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and that is the planning of the meal. Because we cook. My wife cooks a few dishes, and then the other family members bring dishes. So, and we have a big house, but there's a lot of logistics. That's where I come in. So it's so there's a lot of tension, in particularly the day before. I like to wait until Thanksgiving morning to put the tables up and the china and the glasses, and of course, but before that there's the cleaning. So we only clean the house once a year. So there's a lot of cleaning going on before. They can't see any dust or anything, so it's got to be clean. So, but then there's the preparation, how we're going to put the tables up this year, and how many are coming, and we got to get some chairs, and we've been fortunate because we have about three or four sets of china and silver that have been left to us, that have kind of like flowed into this house from parents and aunts and whatever. So we have a lot of good, nice china and glasses to put out, and we get napkins, and we got to borrow chairs. We have a lot of fold-up tables, and we have a big living room, dining room expanse, so we get all of them. See, a lot of, and then the people start coming in. And then there's they all come into the kitchen where my wife is trying to get the food ready, and everybody's talking and hugging. So you get 20 people crammed into the kitchen, and then that creates a lot of stress for my wife. And then I don't know, and then on and on, and then finally the food is laid out, and everybody has arrived, and they're just a gorging of eating, and then I clean up. And everyone else kind of like falls into the chairs and gets into little groups and hugs and talks and has some wine, and then I got to put everything back so we can have some space, and then everybody comes into the living room and watches TV and snoozes, and it's over. So it's kind of 3 stages. The preparation, the feast, and then it's the Mardi Gras of the relief from the tension. At least that's the way I experience. So this Thanksgiving, I've got no tension. Just my wife and I and another friend here. We didn't even we just have a little bitty turkey breast. So the title of this talk is The Last Supper. And I'm connecting, as I do in my Zen head, I connect dots, and I connect this Thanksgiving as the great secular Eucharist, or it's a secular Mass, the Last Supper. Now, the Last Supper, basically, is where Jesus takes the bread and breaks it. And then he pours the wine. And so this is the breaking of the Thanksgiving. Is the modern world has broken up the family. And here this is one reason why we're so divided in our nation, is that the urban and city, suburbs, urban, city, is the diaspora. That's where all of the broken pieces of family, the home trees, are all in the rural area. The family homes, the albums, the grandparents, the grave site. This is where you return for the funeral. This is where you return for Thanksgiving. The home tree here in Avatar. But the diaspora, the cities, the urban area, where all of the little pieces of the broken bread have gone to make their individual units, little family units. That's what I grew up in. Mother, father, son, and a younger sister. And it was a military family, so we never went home to Thanksgiving. I mean, we were always a little unit like that. But here in Blackstone, where my wife grew up, and we live in the house she grew up in. I mean, this house was, I have a picture of it here in the front yard of this house in 1941. So she grew up in this house, and then we bought it and fixed it up and whatnot. But this is where the home tree is. And so all of the diaspora come back here for Thanksgiving, and it's a great feast. So this idea of Thanksgiving as the Eucharist, in other words, putting the bread back together. The bread's been cut up and the crumbs have been thrown all over the country, But at Thanksgiving, they all come back into one loaf. And you have a glass of wine. So it's one loaf again, and then they all break up and everybody goes back, you see. So every year it's and like that. Isn't that interesting, you see? So in a sense, this is the Last Supper where Christ breaks the bread and says, this is my body. So what is he saying? He says that I'm broken up and I'm fragmented all over. This is the metaphorical Christ. It's not the historical Jesus. You have to make it, but I'll get into that. But anyway, so the Christ, you see, has been broken up and spread out all over the world in the same way that the families, our great families, have been broken up and thrown to the winds, you see. So they're drawn back like a magnet at Thanksgiving to the home tree. So that references that living family is restored and rejuvenated for another year of diaspora. So the Eucharist and the Mass, you see, in the Catholic Church is like that, where all the little pieces of Christ thrown out around the world, all the little fragments and independent units, you see, are come back into this great ritual of unity and restoration. And the blood and the wine, you see. You drink the blood of Jesus, it's the wine of Jesus. In the same way, it's the wine and the blood are two hands of the same prayer. The blood and the wine, the death and the resurrection, the sorrow and the joy come together in this ritual, you see. And so all the families come home and they all share the sufferings and all the stuff they're going through in the world and the sickness, and the family kisses the boo-boo and hugs you and you feel restored and you're okay and you're getting ready to go back to the world again, you see, to be broken up all again. So this whole idea of, and then of course there's the sacrifice, you see. So Jesus sacrifices himself in the sense in order to restore, there has to be a willing sacrifice. So that's the whole idea for me behind the Christ, is that this is he went to the cross willingly. And again, you get really screwed up if you think of it as a person doing this. But we're talking mythologically, metaphorically here, to the Christ in each of us that is longing for unity. the Christ in each of us is hungering for God and for unity and for restoration and for healing and for the feeling of being one with atonement, you see. So the families come back to heal, and I hadn't been talking to them for a year, but we hug at Thanksgiving and we feel we're restored, we're healed, and I forgive them and they forgive me, and all the boo-boos are kissed, hopefully not new ones are created, or old wounds opened, that can happen. But the idea is the coming home. We're always coming home. We're always longing for a home where we can be at rest. So the 3 stages of Thanksgiving, you see, is the preparation for the feast and the tension to get it right and all that, and the preparation for the wedding. And then there's the eating or the ceremony of the wedding or the breaking of the Last Supper, you see, in the unity of the disciples, the coming home. The feast and the wedding ceremony, you see, are the welding, is the chemical healing, the chemical union of all these different ingredients, and they come into one solution, one feast. Everyone is eating the same food, and it's enjoyable. You see, we're eating the family. The family has come back through the sacrifice and thanksgiving of the turkey, you see. So the turkey is kind of like a sacrificial family Christ. You see, the turkey is fragmented. And everybody eats a piece of turkey. Everybody eats a piece of Christ. You see, everybody eats a piece. And through that sacrifice of the turkey, of course, when talking about literal turkeys, this is a sacrificial bird. The turkey is a god. The turkey is a god, you see. All through ancient mythologies and ancient civilizations, the god is sacrificed. In the first cities, the first city-states of Samaria, 10,000 years ago, the kings were sacrificed. In other words, the whole idea of dying and resurrection is a sense that life is living on death, that life comes out of death. This is the whole idea. The planting cultures and the hunting cultures lived on death. The plants grow out of the decay of other plants. So this cycle of dying and resurrection is life itself, you see. So to get into accord with that, there has to be a ritual sacrifice to restore life. So the turkey is in that sense a ritual sacrifice to restore the family, you see. So we eat the sacrifice. And all of the sacrificial religions, cannibalism, Christianity, all of the religions have some kind of sacrifice where you eat the sacrifice. The sacrificial animal is cut up, and when it's chosen, it's usually bathed. If somebody's chosen, like the sacrificial animal is treated as a god. In the ancient civilizations, the person who's going to be sacrificed is dressed and treated as a god. They are a god. They are empowered with this divinity. And then when they are killed and cut up, and everybody, or the animal, that you're eating God. And the sacrifice there, and everybody comes and gets a piece and takes it home to their family and feeds the family and rejuvenates the family. This is magical stuff, you see. And we do this in all different ways, but it's kind of like hidden from its true formula. So this whole idea of life, of rejuvenation through sacrifice, even our Medal of Honor winners, the somebody who gives their life for their fellow man. That's a sacrifice. So this whole idea of turkey, sacrifice, rejuvenation of the family, restoration of the family, the Christian Mass, for me, are all kind of like mixed up in the same soup, you see. So I hope this gives you a little better insight into Thanksgiving and why we really miss it when you're not having it, because it's the great American ritual that has not been polluted by commercialism. You don't go out and buy Thanksgiving gifts like with Christmas. It's been polluted, but you don't. So it's not commercialized in that sense, and it is not religious. It doesn't matter what religion you are. You can have a Thanksgiving. So it's secular. It's a secular Eucharist or a secular Last Supper that everybody can participate in, and because everybody has a family, hopefully, so whether it's big or small, it's universally participated in. So it's a great feast. It's a great wedding. It's a great Eucharist. Hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thanks for dropping in.